Hey, this is Cool Trains in Montreal, and I'm showing off something a little bit different today. These are HO scale models. Some of them were my dad's, and some of them are mine from when I was younger and when I was in a modular club. And I'll start off with this bus, which is actually a Road Champs toy of a Chicago Transit Authority, I guess, New Flyer bus. Now, the reason I bought this was because I was doing an urban scene and I needed a city bus. And this one just came along, basically. I didn't see any new look buses that, yeah, probably were going to be available at the time. I didn't see any. But so I have this bus. This is from basically 1996. I've kept it in pretty good shape. I have extensive photographs of it on my Cool Trains in Montreal Facebook page. And I would use this, I suppose, as either a load on a flat car or in a more modern scene, I suppose. But the layout for the West Island Model Train Club is more 1950s, so I don't think this model would actually fit in that situation. However, I really like this, and I think maybe it would make a great load on a flat car or in an urban scene like I had. All right, so next I will show this, which will fit more in the West Island Model Train Club's 1950s layout era. This is a CN. I believe it's a heavyweight car, anyways, from probably the 1920s. I would say, as you can see, what makes it heavyweight is those three, six wheel trucks right there, and it has the cloister type windows at the top there. And this is an older model. This is a Rivarossi. So it will need some upgrading if I'm going to run it on the club layout. For number one, those couplers have to go. Those are horn hook couplers that came with the model. And I would have to upgrade those to the Kadee type couplers, which you will see in a moment. And what's cool about this CN car here, well, it'll have to have weight added to it. It's got a little interior in there, there's a little seats and whatever. And it's not too bad, considering it's a 30-year-old model, but it doesn't have the greatest details on it. But it's more, I would say, nostalgia. This is like my dad's trains, and I would probably want to run them again just for the nostalgia of that. Anyway, that's that car. So this one here is what I would have to upgrade my rolling stock to be. The coupler here on this Delaware and Hudson streamlined 1955 type Bud cars are the couplers for Kadee, and they would match what the club is using. So I would need to do all of my rolling stock the same way. Now, these cars were done like this to run on a layout. We had a modular club in the West Island. Not that particular club that I want to join now, but we had our own. It was called the North Shore Model Railroad Club, and it was all modular, and we went to one or two shows. Unfortunately, the club didn't really stick around long enough to gain any traction. However, at the time, my dad did upgrade these cars, these Delaware and Hudson cars, and there's a couple of them that he has, to run on the layout, and the layout was DC, so it was able to accommodate the rolling stock that my dad had and his locomotives. So yeah, this is a 1970s era Delaware and Hudson streamlined passenger car. I love the paint scheme. You look closely at it, it does resemble the new Via Rail scheme. Just replace the blue with green, and don't have that little pinstripe at the bottom. So when I say in some videos it reminds me of the Delaware and Hudson scheme, this is where I'm talking about. This blue and yellow from the 1970s that did run out of Montreal, actually, down to New York City, I believe. So I also have a locomotive to share. So this is the locomotive that would have hauled that train. Now, this is a DC model, and it is model power, so it's not the greatest of locomotives. And for the Model Train Club, I would probably have to get something that is more DCC friendly and have a decoder in it. But this model here is pretty much what I would need to run that Delaware and Hudson train because this is an Alco PA-1. And this is bought secondhand by the D&H from the Santa Fe Railroad, which is exactly why you have that Santa Fe-esque war bonnet type thing, except in blue. Yeah, and this locomotive, at some point I will show you how it runs. It may need a little bit cleaning because it has not run in years and years. But again, you see it's been upgraded with the couplers that are standard. These are Kadee couplers. You can see that they resemble much better a real coupling system rather than those here, if you see it again, the horn hook couplers on this CN heavyweight car from basically the 1920s. So this locomotive is powered, and I have a couple of unpowered ones. But the real D&H only ran like one locomotive, I think, one or two they had. They had two examples of this. So I could run a powered unit and then the unpowered, one of the unpowered dummy units. So this one is an old Concours, I believe, or yeah, I think it would be Model Power or Concours. So I would probably have to upgrade the locomotive, get something that's like I said, DCC friendly, and it would be able to run on the West Island Model Train Group's layout. So next locomotive I want to show is this CN locomotive. So this one again is a Model Power, and it has been upgraded with those couplers. Those are the Kadee couplers. Again, this one has not been made DCC friendly, so to run a train with this zebra stripe Canadian National, basically the 1961 paint scheme, which I will show you some examples of the cars I have, I would have to get a new locomotive, and it would have to be DCC ready and have a decoder in it to work on the West Island Model Train Club's layout. So I might be considering getting one of these. So I would get maybe a PA-1, and I would get this locomotive too, so that I would have something to pull some of the passenger cars that I have. Because like I said, I have some passenger cars and I have some locomotives, but the locomotives need to be up to speed. So I'll take this one away, and I will show. Here is a more modern Rivarossi model car. Let me just fix that. So the thing with these Rivarossi models is that the wheel sets need to make sure that the wheel sets are in good order, because they can bind, but I will ensure that that works. And also here these cars have been fitted with the appropriate couplers. So this has a Kadee coupler here on both ends. Now this is a railroad post office car, I would imagine. So it's a little bit shorter than a standard CN 85-foot passenger car. And it's in the 1961 paint scheme. That would go along with the locomotive I just showed. So basically what I would have is a train of these 1961 passenger cars, along with a CN stripe locomotive that would go with it. And of course, then I would also have one that's going to work well with my D&H car that I just showed. So here's another example of a CN passenger car. I think this is the Hay River. No. Yeah, this is the Hay River. So this one is actually a sleeper car. Now, my dad had this. I don't know what train would have just a sleeper car and maybe one or two coaches on it, but I'm sure there must have been something that would do that. So this one is ready to go. I can run it on their layout right away. It's got proper weights. It's yes, it's not the 1950s like their layout is suggesting, but it's a 1970s, a very solid 1970s layout, a paint scheme, very iconic CN paint scheme. So I would use this definitely on their layout. Like I said, I would just need a locomotive to haul it. And I have a couple of other cars like this, two other ones. So I could make a 4-car train of CN passenger cars like this. And I could make also a 4-car train of CN passenger cars like this with the old-time heavyweight cars. All I would have to do, of course, is to add a little bit of weight to it and fix those couplers so that they would be standardized. And as for the D&H cars, I have about a 6-car train that I could make, so it would make a proper Adirondack train. All I would need is the PA-1, which is the specific model that D&H used with these cars coming out of Montreal at the old Windsor station. Yeah, so that was pretty much it. I could show you this one last car. And this is a CN car, and it's got a tail car. See this here? It's an observation car with a flat end observation. I don't know if CN really had one of these, but my dad bought it, and it looks really cool. So this would be the tail end car on any CN train that I would run. So I have these cars to show right now. Some of them need a little bit of love, and they all needed a little bit of love in terms of they were all full of dust, so I had to brush them all off and everything like that. So this is pretty much the end of the video. I know you can tell here, look, this RPO is only about 75 feet car, and the standard 85-foot car there, as you can see, it's a little bit shorter than the standard car. So that's pretty much it. And so if I join the West Island Model Train Club, I will have to upgrade some of these cars and some of these locomotives. However, I will have 2 passenger trains that I could use almost right away on their layout. So this is the idea, so that I will have some kind of trains to run there, and it'll give me a bit of an outlet that's not N scale, and without actually having a gigantic N scale layout, of course, too. And if you've seen their videos, the videos that I've made of their layout is spectacular. So I mean, it's so close by, I don't see why I wouldn't join, quite frankly. So if you like what I do, can you please subscribe to Cool Trains in Montreal, and there'll be plenty more model train videos coming your way. Have a good day.